We got the special announcement that we're all very eager to bring to you, and thanks for joining us today for that. And of course, it's our webinar right before the holidays. It definitely is special. I want to welcome my colleague Armando Alas as well to this session today.
Good morning, everyone. Great to be here this morning. And yes, a few days just before the holidays, wishing everybody ahead of time already Merry Christmas.
You bet, absolutely. And just looking at the signups and the attendees today, wow, we got a fantastic sign-up rate today. I guess the announcement has something to do with it. Seeing a few, actually quite a few new faces to our webinar. So for all the new faces, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us on our LaunchPad webinar series. And just to give you a little bit of a background on how the LaunchPad webinar works. We basically start off with our latest news and articles from the internet. We cover all the stories that are making the news, and we try and focus in on topics that are really of interest for you, the ICs, because you want to educate the clients on all the latest stuff that's happening on the internet. So we basically cover over 1,000 different news feeds and sources, and we pull out the best information that we feel is most relevant for you, and we cover that weekly in our LaunchPad webinar at 11 o'clock every Tuesday. And we've also introduced a sales tip of the week segment that's covered by Armando. Armando's got an extensive experience in sales, doing front-end sales himself, especially in the franchising industry. So Armando brings that to the table, and he covers the sales tip of the week, where he encapsulates in a couple of slides some of the best practices that the IC should be following when it comes to sales tactics and strategies that he covers in these two slides. And off late, he's been covering some information and material from Google. He had attended a Google conference recently, and there's a lot of good information that came out of that conference. So for the past couple of webinars, he's been covering that. And then we finish off our webinar with an extensive Q&A session. And here's an opportunity for you to ask us as many questions as you can, whether related or unrelated to the topics that we are talking about or discussing. Again, this is all for you. And before we start off today, once again, from everybody at WSI ALM, I want to wish all of you very happy holidays, and definitely appreciate your support. It's been a fantastic year for ALM for 2014. Got to meet up with a lot of you, put faces to names at the global convention in Florida in September, which was fantastic. It was great to spend time with a lot of you. Probably a few too many drinks. Yes, Mr. Monzel, I'm talking about you over here. But it was a lot of fun, and I believe the next global convention's been announced for next year. It's again in Miami in September, so we look forward to having as many of you over there at the convention as possible, and it'll again be fantastic to meet up with you, spend some time with you, and get to know you that much better. So great. So again, thanks for terrific participation all year round for our webinar series. And without further ado, let's dive right in. All right. So the first news item of the week has to do with a certification for shopping campaigns that's been introduced by Google partners. Now, a lot of the ICs had requested more information on Google Shopping and resources where they can learn more about PLAs and Google Shopping and how it works. And a lot of the DIY ICs, and we have a lot of the ICs that like to do stuff themselves, don't necessarily use production centers. And for their benefit, the Google Partners has recently added a new module in their certification process, and that is specifically geared towards shopping campaigns. So if you do have a Google Partners account, great, just log in and you'll have the shopping module right there under your certification category. Up until now, there was only 3 modules that they had. There was the AdWords certification, the analytics certification, and the video ads certification, and now they've added this 4th module, which is the shopping certification. And
Vinesh, sorry to interject. Yeah, we just need waiting for you to move the slide.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, my screen was paused.
There we go.
Great. Can you look at it now?
Yep. Excellent.
Okay. Awesome. So, yep. As I was mentioning, there's 3 modules that were there previously for the certification: the AdWords, analytics, and video ads. And now Google Partners has actually added a 4th module called shopping. And this is where you can get a lot of good information on how PLAs work, how can you create your own product data feed, how do you create your own Google Merchant Center account, and how do you finally integrate your Merchant Center account into AdWords and create campaigns. There's a lot of good stuff here, lots of best practices that you can incorporate, and you have the ability to get certified in shopping, get a nice little certificate from Google. If you don't have your own Google partner a login, you can easily just go in and sign up for it. You just go to google.com/partners, and then you can just register to become a Google partner. It's as simple as that. And they'll credit you, and then once you log in, you can start accessing a lot of these tests that are available. All right. So our second news item of the week was a really interesting survey that was done by a company called Inside Local, and this was recently showcased on Search Engine Land. And Inside Local basically interviewed around 500 businesses, and they talked about some of the challenges that these local businesses were facing, and they came up with a whole bunch of questions that these respondents had to answer that were primarily small businesses. And one of the questions had to do with citation, like what are the most common ranking issues that you come across? That was one of the most important questions that this survey addressed. And the most common issue that local businesses were facing, as highlighted by these respondents in the survey, was the citation inconsistency. So almost 41% of the businesses, the local businesses, replied back by saying that the citation inconsistency issue is one of the biggest challenges that we have as a local business, and that's what we need to fix. Now, as an IC, this is a great opportunity for you because this is your door opener when you're having a conversation with a local business. There's various tools that are out there, and we've showcased some of these tools in our previous webinars. Tools like the Whitespark Citation Finder tool that we utilize at ALM, so as to generate local citations and research citations that might be eligible for your website. Or applicable for your website, and you can basically take that information and utilize that in your initial meeting with your prospect when you're conducting your IBA. You can highlight some challenges that they have with their citation listings, and that can sort of like be your door opener, because what you can do is just straight away go in and sell them a local plan that consists of just fixing up their citations. That's one of the things that you can help them with. So and has been confirmed by the survey. Now, agreed, the sample size wasn't that huge. It was only about 500 businesses out of millions of businesses that are out there that were interviewed, but it is sort of like consistent with what we're coming across out there. The citation inconsistency is a big issue with local businesses, and it does impact the results dramatically once you fix up this issue. So 41% of the local businesses that were interviewed did confirm that citation or NAP inconsistency is a big issue. And then you had about 27% complain about duplicate Google Places listings. This again is a huge issue that we come across all the time with the ICs discussing this with us, talking about multiple duplicate Google Places listings being visible on Google for their clients or their prospects, and asking us to fix this. So that was like the second biggest challenge that companies have, followed by poor on-site optimization and a poor backlink profile, which again, these are all common occurrences across the board. No surprises there. But the citation inconsistency at 41% is a pretty huge issue. And again, a fantastic way to go in, give some initial thoughts to your prospect, and sell them a quick solution in terms of cleanup for their citations and ensure consistency across the board, so as to impact the results. Another question that was asked by Inside Local for these local businesses was, do you believe in the fact that Google Plus really delivers you good ROI? So all this optimization effort and all this focus that you're doing on Google Plus, do you really think it's worth the ROI that it's delivering for you? And this was again a very interesting stat, because you had almost 71% of the businesses that were interviewed that said yes, either a good ROI or an excellent ROI if you do pay attention to optimizing your Google Plus, your places listing, which is now Google My Business, accurately. So again, there's something to be said in that when 71% of the businesses are confirming the fact that they are comfortable and satisfied with the ROI that Google My Business, Google Plus delivers when you optimize for it accurately. So this is another question that was kind of interesting, and the responses were even more interesting in terms of validating the importance of Google My Business, a well-optimized Google My Business listing. All right, so the other news item that we wanted to share with you was Google launching something very interesting. So they've launched something called store visits. This is a new metric that they've launched within AdWords so as to prove your online to offline impact. Now, the background to this whole news item is the fact that Google's always been struggling with the fact that more than 93% of all the sales that are coming in terms of retail sales in the US, are still offline. So a huge chunk of all the sales are offline, and Google's been struggling with proving how online is actually impacting the offline sales. And this is a common challenge that we come across every single day when we're speaking with the ICs, when we're liaising directly with the customers, where they want to try and analyze the impact for their online digital efforts in their offline areas a lot more. And this is more true for like the brick and mortar stores, like some of the nutrition clients that we work with, where when they're spending money on their online channels or online mediums or their websites, they want to try and see what sort of an impact they're having either on their store visits or on their direct sales overall. And Google hasn't really done a good job in terms of giving metrics or data or stats in order to help us understand or prove what sort of an impact the online spends are taking place in the offline. And in order to fix this, Google's come up with a metric that's called the store visits metric that they've launched within AdWords. And the way that Google's going to determine a store visit is based on things like user proximity to the advertiser's location, and they're going to be using Google Maps for this. They're also going to be looking at location history that's activated either on their app, their smartphones or their Apple or Android devices. Right now, this is just an estimate. This whole store visits metric, because again, Google is leaning strongly towards anonymity, so they don't want to really disclose who the user is and spook them in terms of giving you exact information about, you know, the GPS or the IP of the user or the visitor. So they're masking the data to a very great extent, and they're just giving you this as a sort of an indicator so that you have some sense as to how many store visits potentially took place with your digital efforts. Right? Again, something's better than nothing. So they've started doing this in terms of the store visits metric. It's not sort of like a data set that's appearing across the board in all the AdWords accounts. They're rolling this out slowly. They've started with some of the bigger accounts, some of the accounts that have a lot more data when it comes to store visits, and it makes more sense for them to show this metric. And for you to have this metric enabled in your AdWords account, you are encouraged to either speak with your production center or to speak with your Google rep directly so as to see if your account's eligible for this particular metric to be activated in your account. It is something that Google does need to activate, so you need to get in touch with your Google rep for this, right? Again, the metrics are drawn on search ad clicks across all the devices, as I mentioned, so they'll be capturing this data for smartphones, for tablets, for desktops, and for different campaign types, including PLAs and local inventory ads. And the estimates are based on store visits within the last 30 days of an ad click. Again, this is Google's effort to try and give us some more data in terms of how online is benefiting offline, and hopefully that translates in some budgets shifting more from offline to online. So definitely a good initiative by Google in that direction. The other news item was the Canadian Internet Marketing Awards. These are prestigious awards that happen every year, and in 2015 the CIMA, as they're called, the Canadian Internet Marketing Awards, are taking place on the 28th of March 2015, coinciding with the marketing conference that's being held at the Quest University in beautiful BC. And as you can see from the image, definitely makes you want to book your ticket tomorrow itself, right? So for all the Canadian ICs that are signed on, this is a fantastic and excellent opportunity to get some visibility, to get some traction, to get some industry recognition. And there's basically 5 different categories in which they're accepting submissions. They're accepting submissions in the category for the best usage of Google Analytics, best web design, best use of social media, best use of remarketing, and the best digital marketing consultant for 2000 and I would say 14. They're giving the award out in 2015, so they're categorizing it as best digital marketing consultant 2015. The awards link is at the bottom of our slide. It's the internetmarketingawards.ca. Really neat looking website. Again, this is a fantastic opportunity for some great networking, so as to meet up with some companies, agencies, and boost your credibility at the same time. So if you're interested, then I would suggest that you visit the website ASAP, and it's a very simple submission process. You just need to go through the steps, fill out the form, and submit your category in your website, and you're all set. So just wanted to give our Canadian ICs a heads up here for the SEMA Awards. All right, so time for the exciting bit. So our special announcement. We got a lot of buzz in terms of what the special announcement was. Well, here it is. Without further ado, really pleased to announce the fact that WSI ALM has become the first production center to be HubSpot certified. So we are fully HubSpot certified. We've passed all the certifications, right from the HubSpot inbound marketing certification to their partner certification to their reseller certification. So we've taken all 3 layers. We've become the first production center in the WSI supplier network to be HubSpot certified. And this is something that we're really excited towards because this is going to be a huge area, a huge avenue that we definitely want to focus on in 2015 as an agency, as a company, as a production center, and really help the ICs help increase their retainers. So right now the ICs are averaging, some of the, at least the ICs that we working with are averaging, $900, $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 a month in terms of retainers that they're getting from their clients. Well, HubSpot's a solution that's basically going to help you double or triple your retainers with your clients. Because of the scientific way in which inbound marketing is delivering results for clients, you can easily be charging $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month utilizing HubSpot as sort of like the backbone for doing all of the inbound marketing activity. And through the certification process, through the training process, we were working with the senior level management at HubSpot. They were fantastic. They were really helpful. And the content that they have is just simply phenomenal. HubSpot's made a name for themselves just strictly on content itself. So we've leveraged a lot of their content, and there's a lot of plans that we have for 2015 in terms of incorporating HubSpot within our solutions. And we are very excited to bring this to the ICs and educate them more on what HubSpot's all about and how you can potentially be incorporating inbound marketing in the solutions that you offer your clients. There's a lot of unanswered questions, there's a lot of gray areas, there's a lot of misconceptions with regards to HubSpot and inbound marketing. And what we're going to be doing going forward in our LaunchPad webinar series every Tuesday at 11 o'clock is to dedicate a section solely on inbound marketing, so that every week we can educate the ICs in the different aspects of inbound marketing. Whether it is, what exactly is HubSpot, whether it is giving you a demo of our HubSpot account that we have set up, which we had to incorporate as a part of our certification process, whether it is the onboarding experience for clients, whether it is the monthly deliverables that are associated with a HubSpot campaign, whether it's understanding the overall inbound methodology that HubSpot has and incorporating that in our campaigns. So every week we'll be dedicating a section and understanding the inbound methodology that much better, and then working with you for the ones that have these prospects or these potential clients that are interested in the inbound marketing methodology and how it's applicable for them. We'll work with you one-on-one so as to really customize solutions and strategies for you that will make the most amount of sense for your clients. Again, HubSpot's got some great material. They have this amazing ROI calculator that I think is going to be super useful for all the ICs in order to show value to their prospects and to their clients when they're trying to bring them on board. And we'll again be sharing all of these data sets and these information sets with the ICs in our weekly calls. HubSpot and inbound marketing in particular. Great. So again, we're very excited. This is a new initiative that we launched at ALM, and again, we want to get this out to the ICs and make them totally trained up and specialize in the overall inbound marketing methodology. So just wanted to kind of give a little bit of an introduction today on the inbound marketing methodology. We're not going to be taking a deep dive. We'll just be touching base on what inbound marketing is all about and what do some of these deliverables involve, like what is involved in sort of like a setup and a monthly deliverable aspect for inbound marketing. What does this really mean? Because it is a sort of a gray area with the ICs. So the inbound marketing methodology really revolves around 4 aspects that HubSpot defines as the attract phase, the connect phase, the engage phase, and the delight phase, right? So the attract phase really is where you are trying to attract your buyer personas, your target audience that does not know your brand. You want to connect with them and you want to basically start educating them on potentially your products and your services by addressing the pain points that they have in that particular segment, that vertical, that buyer persona. So that's the overall attract stage. And then once you connect these strangers and you make them visitors to your website, once you connect with them, you now want to engage them. And that's where you want to start converting your visitors into leads, right? And then from a connect to an engage phase, you want to take these leads and now convert them into customers. So basically what you're doing across this methodology is that you're hitting different personas, you're hitting your different segments at the different stages of the buying cycle, and you're trying to capture them. That's really what the inbound marketing methodology is all about. It's not about pushing data to them. It's all about them discovering your data when they need it, as they need it. And that's really what the inbound marketing methodology revolves around. And then once they become your customers, they engage with you. The whole idea is to delight them with the customer service that you give them, with what they've signed up for, and then have them as happy customers so that they start getting you referrals. And at all these 4 different stages, there's different digital marketing tactics that you deploy so as to really take advantage of these 4 different phases. And again, we'd be going in depth quite extensively in all these 4 different phases as to what that involves. So just to kind of give you a sense of what the setup includes and what the monthly deliverables include. So the packages at this stage are going to be customized. There's no standardized packages that we're putting out there just because every client's needs going to be different. And once we do this for the next 3 or 4 months, we can try and see if there's some sort of synergy in terms of standardizing some of the packages. There's 2 aspects to HubSpot. There's one aspect in terms of pricing, that is the price of the software that you'd have to pay. And that ranges in 3 different levels. You have the basic level at $200, you have the professional level at $800 a month, and you have the enterprise level at $1,500 a month, right? So that is something that your client has to pay for regardless of whatever package they opt in for. That's the software cost that they have to pay for, right? And rest assured, we're going to be covering this in a lot more detail in our future webinars. So that's the first aspect of the pricing. And then the second aspect of the pricing is the actual solution that you're delivering to this client in addition to the HubSpot software, right? And typically you'll have a setup and you'll have monthly deliverables, just like you have with your regular campaigns, your regular SEO, paid search campaigns, etc. The setup for an inbound marketing campaign will consist either of some of these deliverables that you're seeing in the slide or all of these deliverables, depending upon what your client really needs or requires. So if your client doesn't have an idea of who their buyer persona is, who their target audience is, and they need a deep dive into this whole area, great. There's fantastic templates that HubSpot has that we can utilize so as to develop buyer personas for them. All of this is going to be done in the setup phase. So the setup can potentially include things like developing your buyer personas, developing a full-scale integrated marketing strategy tailored to these buyer personas and on how to really make a difference and speak with them. Smart goal setting, that's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So the smart goal setting methodology is a huge benchmark for launching inbound campaigns. We want to make sure that everybody is on the same page. So that's a huge part of the initial setup. obviously the configuration of the HubSpot software. We want to make sure that it's talking to your website. So there's a whole bunch of codes, a series of codes that we need to add into the website. Syncing of things like the social media accounts, installation of tracking codes, importing your contact list. That's another very, very important step that the inbound marketing methodology revolves around, which is to take your existing contact list that you have, which is your email database, and incorporating that into HubSpot so we can do some email nurturing campaigns. Segregate your audience into different buckets and send out separate targeting messages to them, right? If the client needs website development, some enhancements in design, that's a part of the setup. Creation of offers, landing pages, some CRO work that needs to be done. So your typical setup in HubSpot is going to consist of, as I mentioned, either some or all of these deliverables, right? The setup normally takes about 20 to 25 business days. So you're looking at the first month just dedicated towards the setup. There's a pretty extensive questionnaire that the client's going to go through. It's called the Inbound Discovery Questionnaire that the client goes through. And again, we'll be sharing a lot of these documents and this information with you as we move along. That's the first thing that we do, which is this inbound assessment that we do with a client, which is pretty in-depth, very intensive, and we get to understand the client's business up and down, and then go ahead and develop the rest of the strategy. In terms of the monthly deliverables, we're looking at blogging, but it's not going to be generic deliverables. So when we actually come up with deliverables for your client, it's going to be very specific. Blogging, how many words, how many blog posts are we going to do every month? Same thing with social media marketing. What channels are we utilizing? How many posts are we going to put out there? Same thing with content marketing, technical SEO, how many pages are we going to optimize? Email marketing, how many emails are we going to send out every month? Data analysis, what sort of reports are we going to be putting out there? Press releases, and then lead nurturing, right? So these are, again, some or all of the monthly deliverables that are going to be included in the solution that we provide to you, either on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, right? Some of the more premium content pieces like ebooks are going to be done, or white papers are going to be done every quarter. But all these deliverables depend on your monthly marketing budget based on the budgets that you have, right? So we'll be customizing the entire strategy based on your client's budget and the needs assessment initially, right? So just wanted to give you a little bit of a heads up just before the holidays. Put on your thinking caps. We'll be sending out some links as well that are sort of like useful links for you to think about in terms of HubSpot and the packages and the pricing for the solution itself. And this is also a good opportunity for you to sort of like just discuss this overall inbound marketing methodology and see how it makes sense for your business, and just fire questions at us. And set up these one-on-one discussions. You can set them up with any of us, and we get on the phone and then discuss your potential requirements as well as any questions that you have, right? And take things from there. But this is definitely very exciting, and this is a tried, tested, proven strategy for getting your retainers times 2, times 3 in terms of what you're billing your clients right now. And there is a real science behind this, and it's going to make sense for your client to invest in a strategy. And HubSpot's only getting better. As you know, they got a $100 million funding from Google Ventures, and they recently went public. So this is a solution that's definitely here to stay for a long time, and they have some fantastic support behind them. Great. So that was our big announcement for the week. Hope you're all as excited as we are. We definitely wanted to lead the pack when it comes to HubSpot, and that's why we really pushed ourselves on the certification, and we got somebody really experienced in our team. She is HubSpot certified already, and she's already implemented HubSpot campaigns for a lot of clients, and she's spearheading the whole HubSpot effort from our team side. And a lot of you will have the opportunity to meet up with her as well and interact with her. So she's dedicated to HubSpot and helping the ICs succeed with inbound marketing. Awesome. So at this stage, I'll pass it on to Armando. Armando, over to you.
Thank you. Anish, so it's really excited about HubSpot, and I'm pretty sure that in the next few weeks you will have a lot of questions, and we'll work with you to answer those questions. And one of the key things, sorry, Anish, just to kind of touch base on that, is to really identify who the HubSpot potential client will be. So some of those in the next few weeks, like Venetia mentioned, we will be kind of we'll be actually detailing in our presentations, qualifying your clients, because it's it's not really for every client, but there are some clients that you may already have that can easily qualify to this to really move into this program. So that's really exciting. I'm not going to really have a lot to say today in regards to our sales tips. I thought that because of the holidays, the ICs would not, they may have some of their thinking caps on, or just already a little bit more relaxed because we were 1-2 days before Christmas. So I kind of did a little bit of research and kind of wanted to find out what's happening in 2015 and opportunities that are going to be very important in 2015, and what the experts are saying. So I wanted to share this a few comments that were said or have been really publicized by some big industry leaders, and one of the things that they actually mentioned, or three of the things they actually mentioned for 2015, was that again, we kind of been talking about for the past few weeks, the whole role of a mobile conversion or mobile-friendly websites. So we're talking about responsive, and I know that the majority of the ICs that we're working with are really have embraced this and are now trying to work with their clients as an opportunity to change them, to change their existing websites into responsive. So again, that's one of the key things that came out from the predictions from, I think this was from Search Engine Journal, and Andrew Goodman from Page Zero Media, which is a pretty sizable digital media company or marketing company, that talked about, he kind of talked about we'll finally be moving away from tire reminders of the importance of mobile. That's how we feel sometimes at ALM, trying to make sure that the ICs are doing that. I still find ICs that haven't really embraced it. They're still questioning it, but I'm sorry, 2015, it's been written on the wall by Google, by Bing and Yahoo, and also backed by data, where we understand that a lot of people are aware of it, but now is really a time to change. So Andrew Goodman talked a little bit about that. By now I think we're aware that a lot of people use smartphones to search for things, so it's really a great opportunity for all those clients that you have today that are not responsive, as well as an opportunity for looking at potential prospects that they may have a website, but you know what, they need to be responsive. So either there's an opportunity to convert those websites into responsive design, or to develop new websites, because in some case scenarios the technology they are running may be outdated, or the design may not be a suitable design, so it's probably more cost effective to really develop a new website. I think Venetia, if you can help me out here, I know we always talk about this in our presentation. I think it's about what, 90% or 80% plus. Oh, sorry, only 3%. I think it is of all websites are actually responsive today. So it's a huge opportunity there.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I think one of the things that we have encouraged the ICs that we're working with is to look at your client portfolio and to really push them towards mobile-friendly and responsive design. Remember, responsive isn't the way to go for every single website. It really depends on the size and scale. So don't jump on this responsive bandwagon and think that responsive is the answer. It isn't the answer at all times, as we've covered in our LaunchPad, one of our LaunchPad webinars quite extensively. Responsive does screw up a lot of the layouts that are more mobile specific. So you have to be careful and not just put a responsive website design across the board for large and small clients. For the large clients, you have to be a little more careful, and a mobile-friendly website is probably the way to go for larger clients as opposed to a responsive website. So there's some tips to keep in mind, but all in all, analytics shows that anywhere from 30 to 40% of all the traffic now that's coming on the internet for websites is mobile traffic. It's driven by tablets and smartphones. So it would be foolhardy not to really showcase that data to your clients and move them towards responsive and mobile-friendly websites. And it's all about how you make the pitch. You just don't go in and give them the pitch that, hey, this is what you have to do. You back that up by data, and when you back that up by data, you also back it up by conversion numbers. What would a 2 or a 3% lift in conversion rates for your clients do in terms of their overall revenue targets and their revenue goals? That's how you go in and make your sale. So it's all about being aware of, what your client's in it for, what's good for your client, and obviously doing the right thing.
Definitely, and specifically if your clients are running different campaigns, SEO and PPC, for example, as more traffic moves to mobile, definitely you want to make sure that the site, your website is mobile SEO friendly as well as mobile PPC friendly. So that was the big thing from Big Click. Thank you, Anish. Another key thing is focus on audience across devices and with new ads. I think that this is very important in regards to being able to identify your audiences and targeting them differently. And one of the key things that I think that with inbound marketing methodology, it will definitely assist you. So this is something that's pretty big right now, and the actual general manager for Bing Ads product marketing, he talked about one of the big trends is audience marketing and audience targeting. Everything we're doing about understanding intent, it's all about audience, understanding more and more about them and delivering more relevant messages. So we go back to inbound marketing methodology of identifying personas and really targeting them. The areas of display and search are going to become very great and come together in terms of how you think about buying, search, and display, and retargeting across all of those audiences. So it's really important, again, that whatever your clients' requirements are, some are very straightforward, but if you have mid-sized and large clients, that you really spend the time and think a little bit more strategic in how you're going to provide them a service that will generate ROI. It's not just about your standard adaptive SEO campaign or your standard SEO and PPC. It's not just out of the box. It may require a little bit more thinking and strategy, so that's important. The other one that we kind of also been alluding to ourselves at ALM and talking to the ACs is really also video advertising, and that's another trend in regards to finding out how you can really optimize and or help your clients reach a new audience on sites like YouTube and Vimeo, etc. And that's an area that we definitely will be exploring. We were talking to we were in a project a few weeks back in a meeting with one of our other partners. I think it was PaySearch supplier, and we talked about the idea of when you're doing advertising on video and really capturing the message, it can be for both. It runs by cost per click as well as even just impressions. So there's branding value as well as also a real driving traffic value to your website. So again, Vinisha was like to talk about our adaptive SEO video, but think of ways creatively of how to deliver content to your clients using video marketing. So that's very important. Vinish, not sure if you have any additional thoughts on this one.
Well, I just wanted to showcase our video where we introduced animated video services early on this year around August, and it was pretty successful. We launched our first video, which was this particular video, the adaptive SEO video that we created, and it was really well received. We got a lot of positive feedback in this video. A lot of the ICs personalized it for themselves for their own websites as well. It is ranking #1 in YouTube right now for the key phrase adaptive SEO, and we got a lot of success out of this. So this is definitely something that was pretty cool that we are proud of that we did in 2014. And we'll be coming up with a whole video series in 2015 addressing specifically inbound and some of the other services that we have. And definitely stay tuned for that. So loved producing this video, which was a huge hit. All the ICs loved it. Just wanted to showcase that.
No, and it's very important, and I think that as you look at 2015 and look at your clients, sometimes we have challenges getting content from clients. So there are different ways of easily creating video advertising and optimizing that as well. So again, key things in video advertising and mobile video advertising, those are things that are coming that are going to be growing in 2015, and it has to be, again, customer-centric and data-driven. The other third thing that they talked about was really more automation and PPC experts. So again, this is actually Larry Kim from WordStream, and as everyone knows, WordStream is a pretty reputable organization that focuses a lot on paid search and a bit of SEO, but they become more focused on paid search. And obviously, Larry's concern has been obviously the competitiveness in the landscape of PPC, and that has driven high click prices. It's going totally opposite than the oil prices today, for sure. But with paid search, CPC within established markets are an all-time high. The obviously erodes the ROI of paid search. So search marketing managers will need to get creative on how to squeeze more ROI from paid search. Now, this is a very important comment and feedback, and that I wanted to kind of also bring to the attention of the ICs. Your production team obviously implements strategy, executes the strategies developed, but it's always good to have you, the IC, as a consultant, as a person really involved in your client's business to a certain degree, that also looks at this. The last thing you want to do is just let your campaigns run the whole month without knowing what's happening, and expect the supplier to do everything. Sometimes you may have valuable information, valuable feedback from the client that you can share back, and that's what's going to make you, with the hat of the search marketing manager, very effective over those people that just leave the campaigns on automatic for the whole month. Obviously, we have a team that looks at it, and we actually do bi-weekly reviews on a monthly basis on the campaigns. But it's always good to have ICs that get involved, also bring their feedback, their thought processes to enhance the campaigns. And that's what we've seen makes a difference. It's really also your participation as well. So that's very important. And John Lee from Clicks Marketing, again, another digital marketing company, talks about as we are finding that really paid search can get very competitive and also pricey, companies are going to start looking at how to get more traffic from other sources, and specifically, looking at different advertising channels like Facebook ads and Twitter ads, and that's another area of growth. So again, like Vinish mentioned at the beginning of this slide, regards to mobile, not everything fits for everyone, so you may have to do a little bit of research, but definitely there's opportunity. Don't just get stuck with a stereotypical or traditional solution of Google paid search. Bing may work for you as well, right? Bing paid search, as well as Facebook ads and Twitter ads. So try to incorporate these things into your research phase before you recommend something to the client. And there may be, outside of traditional PPC, different avenues to get your clients the type of traffic they require, the type of exposure and brand awareness outside of Google paid search. So that's another key thing that's going to be happening, and the smart, search experts, the smart digital marketeers are going to look outside the box to find new ways of generating traffic at a very cost-effective manner. Okay, excellent. Not sure if you want to add anything on this point, Vinish.
No, I think you kind of summed it well, Armando. It's all about finding good ROI from paid search. Paid search is going to get increasingly more and more challenging to get an ROI, especially with the broad-based generic keywords, the head tail. It's going to be really, really challenging. So it's just sort of like a necessary evil that a lot of the advertisers and the companies will have to just kind of absorb, just because paid search does deliver some good conversions, and you'll just have to kind of evaluate it based on the lifetime value of your customers if it does make sense or not. It just helps SEO that much more.
Yeah, and it's really looking at other ponds to fish, right? Don't just think of Google as it is the biggest upon, but there's also other areas where your client may be happy by getting perhaps better return on investment with high quality traffic and better conversion ratios, right? So that's going to be important. So I kind of wanted to share these things. Keep them in mind as you're kind of looking into the year where you want to really guide your business and where you want to kind of look for new clients, and those are 3 areas. The other thing that I found this weekend was, if you don't mind, Vinny, just going to go into this, clicking on the link and go into this specific quick sprout infographic. I definitely love infographics, specifically when you're trying to educate your clients, when you're trying to also help them understand how things work, how SEO works, how digital marketing works, and in this one in specific, it's how Google crawls and indexes web pages. So this is a great infographic if you want to use it in a presentation with a client that you notice that their level of comprehension or education in the digital marketing, it's very minimal, or it's also an infographic that you may want to share in your LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook, and actually add your own comments. So one of the key things here, if you can stop it there, a little bit higher, there we go. One of the things that I found kind of interesting was that, do you know that when you're searching on Google, you're not actually searching the web. Instead, you're searching Google's index of the web. So think about the fact that there's more out there than just Google. It's just that right now Google capitalizes 80% of all that search. So in this one, definitely talks a little bit about that. It talks about how Google indexes, and I can tell you that sometimes we do get ICs who ask us, how this works and what's the science behind it. So this infographic pretty much makes it very simple for any potential prospect to understand how Google actually crawls websites and etc. And it also talks about the importance of Google's Google as a search engine, where for example, Bing indexed only 14 billion pages, and that's only 10% of the entire web that's indexed, right? So you can see that also Google has indexed about 40 billion of them. So and even with that, the 90% of the web that's not hidden from Google is called the invisible web, and that's around 450 billion web pages out there. So there's still a lot of pages that need to be crawled. And specifically, this one talks a little bit about how spiders index your site. Again, sometimes when trying to explain this to a potential new client that doesn't have a lot of experience on the web, it's a great image in regards to the process for crawling. So that's a good one as well. And educating them more about how crawls happen. It can happen several times a day or once in 6 months, really depending on how often you refresh your content. And if you go down a little bit more, there's a couple of fun facts. But here, these are the 7 most common reasons Google can't crawl your web pages. So it's an educational piece again on 7 things that need to be configured properly or implemented properly in order for a website to be crawled by Google. So again, there's 7 of them. If you might want to scroll down, obviously you have to have a robot.txt file, a properly configured .hta access file, badly written title, meta, and author tags. Those are important. Incorrectly configured URL parameters, or sometimes even having dynamic URLs. Low page rank, connectivity or DNS issues. So again, that's this web speed, and domain with a bad history. So these are 7 things that you may want to educate your clients. And how to help Google crawl more pages. How do we get them to index more pages and actually get better results? So here are more tips. This is probably more for internal use for us as ICs. So definitely a great infographic. I think that if you can share this with your connections, add your feedback, add your 2 cents, repurpose this content. So I kind of wanted to share that with you because it's simple, straight to a point. But sometimes, we may know how everything works, but our clients, our prospects, our connections, they don't know. And just by giving them this bit of information, you're giving them free information that's valuable. So anyhow, I thought I'd share that with you this week.
Awesome. That was really, really cool stuff, Armando. Yeah, I didn't know about the invisible web, which is kind of interesting. That there's over 450 billion pages that we're not even accessing, which is pretty interesting. Crazy stuff. Great. So we got a lot of questions, so I'm glad we finished a bit early. Let's take some of these questions here. Oh, yeah. Barry asked for that link to be pasted on to the chat box. I certainly can, Barry. Good. Let me do it right now. Here you go. I'm just going to take care of this right now. There we go. That's the link here. So let's start taking some questions here. There's some really interesting questions that are coming up. So should a company that has only one product consider Google Shopping? That's a good question, Mark. I mean, it really depends on what the product is. If it is sort of like an image-oriented product where the image is going to help, PLAs are known to have higher conversion rates than standard search display ads. So it's definitely worth testing out. Even if they have one product, it's all right. It's okay to launch a PLA campaign aimed at that one product because you do get the advantage of displaying the image of the product. And the other advantage to PLAs is I sort of like compare PLAs as to where they're at now with regards to the mobile PPC when it was initially launched to remarketing when it was initially launched. It's still very accessible. Not a lot of companies are doing it. Not a lot of companies understand it, do it effectively. So there is a hidden opportunity with PLAs right now. And if you can capitalize on PLAs at this stage, you're definitely going to be a winner. So, yep, Mark, I think there's definitely opportunity, even if the client has just one product that they need to advertise. The other question, I guess, is a series of questions on HubSpot that we're going to address right now. What's a good sales price for HubSpot? So it depends. I would say that the lowest price point for a HubSpot solution would be the range of, I would say $2,000. That's what I would say, because you have to have your production center having their base price and then you marking it up. So I would say that a minimum spend of $2,000 a month is a requirement for a HubSpot solution. Below that, it just doesn't make sense for a client. You know, $24,000 for the year is sort of like a minimal investment that you're looking at for HubSpot. Does HubSpot incorporate adaptive SEO, supplement it, or replace it? It definitely incorporates adaptive SEO because what you can do is you can utilize a lot of the adaptive SEO deliverables within your inbound marketing strategy based on what stage they fall under, whether it's the the awareness stage or the decision-making stage. You can incorporate the SEO deliverables based on the different buying cycles, buying stages of our client. So it is definitely incorporating it, and it's supplementing the inbound marketing methodology, definitely not replacing it. Could you provide an email draft that I can tailor and send to targeted clients to start the upscale conversation for them to HubSpot? We definitely can, Mark, and it obviously seems like you do have some interested prospects. So what I would do is that it would be best to engage one-on-one. So if you could just send us an email, myself or Armando, and then we'll engage in a one-on-one conversation with you and help you with all of these different areas that you need help with regards to HubSpot. Yep, Mike saw a lot of value in the HubSpot inbound certification and definitely recommends it for everybody. We definitely agree, Mike. I think the HubSpot inbound certification is fantastic for just getting a sort of a good heads up into what inbound marketing is all about and the methodology. And the material is just terrific. Does a client have to move their website to HubSpot in order to benefit from HubSpot? Not necessarily, Mark. You can have your website separately parked, and all you really need to do is to incorporate a blog that can be very easily done. We can just create a subdomain, so it's going to be blog.domain.com, and the blog gets housed in HubSpot, which is very simple to do. There's no complexity involved with that whole process, and the rest of the stuff can remain where it is. The website doesn't need to be migrated into HubSpot, so there's a standalone platform, and then you basically do your inbound marketing. So there's you don't need to integrate your website into HubSpot, which used to be the case, I believe, in the past, not anymore. All right, so there's one more question here. So would love to get an idea of the type of prospects that are good for utilizing HubSpot. Great question, Adrian. And I think it's really sort of like a budget dependent question because again, somebody that's doing local SEO at $300-400 definitely does not qualify for inbound marketing and HubSpot. It has to be companies that have at least $2,000 to $3,000 a month to invest in inbound marketing as a methodology. They can be startup, mid-level, or mature businesses. It doesn't really matter as long as they have the the deep pockets in terms of spending $2,000 to $3,000 a month, and okay with the fact that the methodology is going to take anywhere from 6 to 12 months to deliver results. Right? It's not immediate success, just like SEO. Inbound marketing also does take time. So as long as they're in this for the long haul and ready to look at their ROI over the course of 6 and 12 months and see how inbound marketing impacts their business overall, I would say they're a good prospect. So I would say that the main qualifier really would be the budgetary standpoint. That would be sort of like the main qualifier in this case. Great. I think that's all the questions that we have for now. Once again, great participation today. Thank you, everybody. We know it's the 23rd. It's a busy time of the year, especially for the lazy guys like me who haven't done their Christmas shopping till now. Thanks once again for joining us in our webinar today. And again, really excited to be looking at 2015. We'll have a year-end webinar taking place next week on Tuesday. Do definitely join us for that. Once again, happy holidays from everybody at ALM, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.